I don't know if you can tell, but I did a very big reorganization of my manga shelves. Can you tell? Do you see a difference? More so this one right behind me rather than this one or the brown one. The brown one doesn't really change all that much, but the big white shelf, you can kind of tell. On this shelf here, we have my English now. It used to just be this shelf. Now we have one extra English shelf. Yay. And then in this shelf and everything above is double stacked. And I still don't know if I like the look of a double stacked shelf. We'll see. It is nice because now I have almost all of my imprints and publishers together. And I like the look of uniformity where everything is in order. But I wasn't able to fit literally everything. And some series that I'm still reading had to be kind of shoved in the back. We'll see. We'll see. But last week I did a lot of reading, and then this week I was super duper busy, and so this video is late, and I'm very sorry about that. The libraries in my city, there are quite a few. All of them are having like a big, they had like a big party, as big as a library can have, I guess, on Tuesday for like a rebranding. I didn't know about it at all. I found out about it by chance the 2 days before. I'm super lucky. So I got some free donuts, which was really nice. A new tote bag, a new library card. It was really nice. But I got busy. I got busy doing like book related things. And I did also borrow quite a few English volumes from the library that I read this week that I'll be talking about next week. But let's talk about everything that I read last week. Sorry it's late. As always, if you want to hear my thoughts about whatever I'm reading before I put out the videos, because I do put out the videos a little late regardless, you can always check out my blog, because that's where I'd put my reviews first. Just generally, it doesn't take me anywhere near as much time to write up an article or a review versus sitting down and filming, because I'm lazy when it comes to filming. I'm sorry. But okay, let's talk about what I read last week. First up is a light novel. I'm getting very much into light novels, and I'm not mad about it. I really do like reading, but I don't like talking about my light novels all that much. Partially for spoilers, that's more on the English side now, and partially because it takes me usually quite a while to read a light novel, and I feel like slightly judged when I take like a couple months just to read one book. I know it's okay, I know everybody reads at a different pace, but I feel like I'm slow, so I don't like talking about it, and because it takes me so long, I don't want to commit to writing reviews or doing reviews for things that take me a really long time to read, because that's just such a time commitment, and I prefer working on my Japanese stuff in general. Blah. But I did read Volume 2 of Villains Are Destined to Die. This is my all-time favorite light novel in English. And this is also one of my favorite manhwa series, which is like the Korean manga. So I read this in just 3 days. 3 days in a row, which again normally takes me at least a couple weeks, at least 3 days. Because I know the story already, but the light novel just goes into so much more detail than the manhwa does. So the story is the same in both, just if you already like the story, the light novel just gives you more details. And I really like the light novel, so I am reading it real fast. The next volume doesn't come out until May, so I have to find other things to do with my time. Personally, my favorite parts of Volume 2 were all of the parts with the Crown Prince. Literally, just every time he was on the page was one of my favorite parts. I really like his character. He is my favorite out of all of the potential male leads. I'm not going to give any spoilers. If you haven't read the story, don't worry. But my favorite is the Crown Prince. I don't like the fact that the two, like, kind of stepbrothers, but not really, are potential love interests. They're not going to be love interests. There's no way. And then, who else is there? There's the magician, who I'm kind of like, about. His arc comes in the next volume, so Volume 3. So Volume 2 ended with, like, the beginning, like the very, very, very beginning of what will be his arc. So we really didn't see much of the magician. And then we have Eccles, who I don't trust. He is suspicious, I will say. I don't know how I feel about him. I'm keeping an eye on him. we'll see how that goes. But my favorite is by far the Crown Prince because he's crazy. And there's nothing I like more than a crazy love interest. So that was Villains Are Destined to Die. Let's do all of my English reads first, just for convenience. And I'll do my favorite read of the week first, which was Blue Period. This one has been recommended to me by so many people. Thank you so much for recommending it to me because this was such a good read. This is technically a seinen series, so it's targeted towards an older male audience. Again, doesn't matter. Read what you want to read, and anybody can like any story. This one is about Yatora, is his name, who is on the cover here. He is kind of a delinquent, but he is such a good guy. He's friends with like literally everybody. He's a smart guy, so if he puts in effort into doing something, he can do it without all that much trouble. So he's just kind of coasting by in life. He's good at everything, but he doesn't necessarily like everything. So like he'll hang out with his friends, he'll cheer for sports teams, but in the back of his mind, he'll think, like, I'm not the one who just scored that goal. Why am I cheering like I am? Kind of thing where he's kind of like, he's not all that happy in life, but he doesn't exactly know why. It isn't until he starts painting that he really feels like, wow, like I can express myself and others can understand what I'm trying to express. And like, I love that feeling. So he develops a like deep appreciation for the arts and it goes off from there. So it talks about him really getting passionate about art and him wanting to learn more. And it's really, really nice. It talks a little bit about how his parents feel because they don't have all that much money to go into university or college because it's expensive. So he needs a scholarship. He needs like monetary help to get into any school. And art school is expensive and doesn't have all that many scholarships. So he has to deal with breaking the news to his parents that like, hey, I want to go to art school, which is not an easy conversation to have, regardless of where you're from. So this was my top read of the week. I am trying to decide how I'm going to go about buying the rest of the series, because this one does have a box set, and it comes with like a nice little art book. So I might buy that one. I have to save up some money first, but I think I'm going to do the box set. I got this at the thrift store also. I'm so surprised. I'm so happy I got it from the thrift store. Speaking of thrift store finds, I also read volume 3 of Beastars. I thought I had finished this, but I had only read half of this volume. So I did a half read of this last week as well. I'm still really enjoying Beastars. I liked it. In this volume, we see the carnivore, that's the word, the carnivore characters travel into the like adult world. So they leave their school, go to the adult world they have things to do. I really liked seeing that because it showed like the student, from the student's perspective, it seemed like the adult world was so good and clean and everybody was able to suppress their animalistic urges. But then some things happen and they realize like, oh, there's a dark side to the adult world. We're too young to understand it. And it was really, really good. There was one part with the like the back alley doctor that I was kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how I feel about that. I have to read on to decide how I feel about that. But overall, I did really like volume 3. I am still enjoying the bunny Haru's character. And specifically, I just flipped through it and I reminded myself, really, really funny. There is a not even a full chapter. Maybe it was a full chapter. But there's a hen character who lays eggs and sells those eggs to the school. And the school makes egg sandwiches with them. And she gets some money from that. And she has an arc about her feeling like a lot of pride from selling delicious eggs. And it's really, really funny because one of her classmates is eating an egg sandwich made out of her eggs beside her. And she has a reaction and it's really funny. It came out of nowhere. This was a good volume. I think the hen character is what really helped me enjoy the volume. But overall, it was a good volume. My last English read of the week was Ima Koi. This one sadly was my least favorite of the week. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it wasn't what I expected it to be. So Ima Koi is about, and it's so similar to Futari de koi o suru ryu. So similar that it freaked me out a little bit. But this one is about a girl is saved by one of her classmates on the train from a groper or like a pervert. She becomes infatuated with him because he saved her. What a kind person. Nobody else would do it, but he would do it. So kind. And in the past, she wasn't able to confess her feelings, so she had decided that for her next love, she would do everything she can to be able to confess her feelings, just like in Futari de Koyo Sururyu. And so she goes to school. Turns out the person that saved her was one of her classmates, a very, very handsome classmate. She goes up to him to thank him. He doesn't remember her. She will not be stopped, though. She does everything she can to express her gratitude. She tells him she really wants to get to know him more. Like, she's all in, and he's very much like, yeah, okay. Like, it doesn't seem like he cares. He's pretty aloof, pretty, like, cool. He was described as, like, a Yankee or, like, a delinquent character. To me, he's not. To me, he's just kind of quiet. But maybe he turns, I don't know, just in my like Yankee standards, he doesn't fit into a Yankee romance character. But I digress. So she tells him she wants to get to know him more. He takes that as she just asked me out and we're dating. And so from his perspective, they're dating, but he can barely remember her name. And from her perspective, they're going to have coffee so she can thank him for saving her from the groper on the train. And it's just, there's a lot of, like, not even miscommunication. There's just no communication because he doesn't talk. And she, like, becomes so infatuated with him so quickly. I know it's a high school romance. I know, like, that is pretty realistic. But just, I didn't see any chemistry between the two of them at all, sadly. And he also has a friend who really doesn't like her because he thinks her feelings are shallow, I guess. Just like in Futari de Koyo Sururyu. There's so many similarities. But he seems to have no problem letting his friend treat his new girlfriend like garbage, which I do not like. Maybe there's like a backstory, but just like the friend is so needlessly mean the entirety of the time he's on the page. And I'm like, why are you so mean? Like in Futari de Koyo Sururyu, we see like he has layers. He's like an onion. You peel back and there's different stuff. In this one, we don't know anything about the side character besides the fact that he's mean and he doesn't like her. And he invited himself to her house to get in between the two of them because they were supposed to have a study date. And he just spends the time in her bedroom insulting her to her face. So I didn't like that all that much. My next one is actually 2, which is, this one, it does have an English, and the English is And Yet You Are So Sweet. It also has a movie, if you're into that, a live action movie. Apparently it was really good, but I haven't seen it. I read volumes 3 and 4. I had already read volume 3, but it was a long time ago. I had forgotten where I stopped off. Turns out I stopped off at volume 3. So I read volume 4 right after. I will say I did not like volume 3. There's a reason that's why I stopped there, but I did like volume 4 quite a bit more, so I will be continuing with this series. So, like, slight spoilers. We have, in this series, we follow Maya as after she was, like, turned down by a boy she confessed to, even though she never talked to before. It's brave. One of her classmates sees her being sad and offers to let her pretend to have a crush on him just so she can get over that boy that she loved, even though she didn't know him. And then, so that was, like, the first, like, volume and a half. So, first volume and a half, he lets her pretend to have a crush on him. In the end of volume 2, so slight spoilers, they decide to pretend to have a crush on each other. And then volume 3, they're still continuing to pretend to have a crush on each other. And it's clear they like each other. Like, it's clear at least he likes her and understands it, but I don't think she understands that she likes him yet. But in volume 3, the reason I didn't like it is because Maya lets herself be, like, pushed around by everybody, specifically by, like, the second male lead, even though he's absolutely not going to be the second male lead. There's no way. But she frustrated me so bad in this volume. So bad in this volume. She wanted to be on the library committee so that she could be with her boyfriend Chigira, or like her pretend boyfriend Chigira. They're dating. And so I guess he was able to get on the committee, but the second male lead took her spot in the committee. And she was so sad. She was about to start crying because she didn't get work, like whatever. But the second male lead ended up giving his spot to her, so she was able to get on the committee. But there's the condition that she has to do literally anything he wants her to do for an entire week. Literally anything. And she's like, okay, like, thanks. So she, in order for her to get a job that she doesn't get paid for, she will do anything the strange boy asks of her for a week. She must really, really like her pretend boyfriend. But that's the situation. And he gophers her around. He treats her so poorly for a week, and she just accepts it with a smile on her face. Like, good for her for being so, like, sturdy and, like, able to do things like that. I would not. So good for her. But her pretend boyfriend sees her, like, running around being a gopher for the second male lead and is like, what's going on? So I found it really frustrating that she didn't stand up for herself at all in volume 3. Didn't like it. But volume 4, there was some character development, and I did enjoy it quite a bit more. Maya reveals the fact that the reason she has difficulty being a good girlfriend or depending on others is because she's an only child and she was raised to be independent. And I will just say, well, I'm not an only child, but I was also raised to be able to do things on my own, that I don't need help, like I can do things. That doesn't mean that I need to ask permission for everything, or that I need to, like, I physically cannot ask to borrow a pencil or something, or to, like, you know, like, just because you're raised to be independent doesn't mean that you don't understand how to communicate with other people. So I found that frustrating in this volume. Literally, like, she'll be struggling so hard, she'll understand that she needs help, but she just won't ask for help. And, like, I found it really frustrating. I didn't like the explanation, like, it's because she's independent. Like, that doesn't mean, you know, whatever. I would have, like, if it's her first time experiencing all of this stuff and she's nervous and she's used to not having anybody that she can depend on, I feel like that would have been a better explanation versus she was raised well or she was raised to be able to do everything. Like, I feel like there's a difference. But I digress. In this volume, her pretend boyfriend, Chigita, has to straight up tell her, like, allow me to be nice to you, like, depend on me, like, do me that solid, let me do favors for you. And she's like, oh, okay. And then thankfully, after being, like, explicitly told to allow him to be nice to her, she allows him to be nice to her. And we do get some sweet development between the two of them. So after we get through that hurdle, there is some niceness. There's some cuteness. So I did like volume 4, or volume, I mixed them up. I liked volume 4 a lot more than volume 3. I do have quite a few volumes of this series, so I will be reading on regardless, but I am enjoying the overall development that is happening, though it is very slow. And then my last read of last week is this one, which is Miyo Kogasu Hodo no Ayoshire. Sadly, there is no English version for this one yet, hopefully. This one is so good. This one is a toxic triangle, and it's so good. We follow our female lead, Miyu, with two brothers who are both obsessed with her in their own way. So we have, it's very much a triangle. She was in love with the older brother who's not on this cover, and the younger brother has been in love with her. That's been, like, the obvious triangle. Turns out, slight spoilers, the older brother also has been in love with her forever. But because the older brother's an older brother, he's more mature, he understands that it's safer to stay friends forever and always be there for you, rather than try dating, breaking up, things becoming awkward, and then you can't really ever talk again. Because he made a promise to her to always be there for her, he can't let his feelings win, so he has to shut down any feelings before they can even start, preferably. And so he tries to stay her friend. The younger brother is like, we're going to get married. I'll be with you forever because we're getting married. We will be in a romantic relationship. He is very, very, like, gung-ho about his love for her. And because of his kind of, like, playboy esque personality, it makes sense that he's overly flirty with her. But because he's so obsessed with her, he is a little bit toxic. He does kind of play with her emotions quite a bit. It is fun to read, but if I were Miyu, I would hate it. I'd be really frustrated. In this volume, there is a lot of Miyu really, really trying hard to get over the older brother, but the older brother not liking the fact that Miyu's trying to get over him. And the younger brother seeing the older brother try to hang around Miyu and being like, are you going to go back to my brother? Like, I thought you were trying to get over him. I'm trying to help you get over him. And it's really fun. It's a really good volume. I ordered volume 3. There's only 3 volumes out right now. And it's on its way to me right now. And I cannot wait to read it. But yeah, that's everything I read. I have read a lot. Quite a lot this week. So I will be doing another reading wrap hopefully soon. Hopefully on Monday. And I'm going to try to do a monthly reading wrap where I rank everything I read. If I can. I don't know. I'm going to try. Yeah.